Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, the #1 place for information on living in Maryland. Today we're going to talk about the difference between living in Frederick, Maryland and Germantown, Maryland. So stick around so you can let me know in the comments which you would pick. Alright, so let's get started. I've spent a lot of time in Frederick and Germantown, Maryland. I've shown countless houses in both, and I've just visited both because I live in the area. So one thing that stands out the most is the layout of each city. So first, Frederick is more of a traditional city layout. You have your downtown streets with city blocks, and on the outskirts, it's still pretty rural, a lot of country roads, single family detached homes, where Germantown is more of a spread out type of suburb. There's really no downtown streets there. They have all the shopping centers, but they're spread out as well. So you're gonna have all these clusters of little neighborhoods with HOAs throughout Germantown, where Frederick is really concentrated in downtown, and then everything on the outskirts is really spread out. So if you like having a lot of places to walk to, Frederick's probably your place to go, because downtown there are so many stores, restaurants, things to do in walking distance of downtown, where if you like driving more, you're probably gonna be okay with Germantown. You still have everything you need there. It's just more spread out in these little clusters. So it really just depends on your preference there. So the next thing I want to talk about when comparing Frederick to Germantown is the location and the transportation, because a lot of people moving to the area are going to be working in DC or working in Baltimore. So it's important to compare how do you get to both of those cities from Frederick and Germantown. And the driving distance from Frederick and Germantown to Baltimore is almost exactly the same, so there's really no difference there. You can live in either. But going from Frederick and Germantown to DC is a massive difference. It's almost double the distance from Frederick to DC than it is Germantown to DC. The good thing is they have a MARC train that goes from Frederick all the way down to DC. And Germantown has the same thing. It has a MARC train down to DC. So if you want to use public transportation, it's there. However, Frederick is going to take you an extra 40 minutes to get to DC because it has to go through Brunswick, which is right on the Potomac River, where Germantown is a straight shot down to DC. So Frederick to DC on the MARC train is going to take you about an hour and 40 minutes, where Germantown to DC is going to take you about an hour to get downtown, and that's to Union Station. So this is really important to think about when you're thinking of moving and working in Baltimore or DC, but living in Frederick or Germantown. So when comparing the two cities, we can't forget to talk about housing, and this is my favorite part, obviously being a realtor in the area, and I've shown hundreds of homes in Frederick and Germantown over the years. And one thing that stood out to me is that Germantown has a lot of townhouses. I mean, it seems like a majority of Germantown are neighborhoods of townhouses. So I looked into this, and in 2021, 58% of all sales in Germantown were townhouses, where in Frederick that was only 47%, which is less than half. So it really is a different layout of home styles in Germantown versus Frederick. Also, the prices are wildly different. So Frederick is situated in Frederick County, where the average sales price right now is sitting right around $497,000. Germantown, on the other hand, is in Montgomery County, which right now the average sales price there is $733,000. It's a huge difference, and it all has to do with the proximity to DC. So if you're looking at a map, the closer you get to DC, you'll notice those cities get more expensive and more expensive on your way down. And you would think with that big price difference that Germantown would have a lot more to do than Frederick, but it's actually the opposite. So Frederick has so much more to do. I mean, they have a downtown, so you're gonna have city-sponsored events like Alive at 5, you have In the Streets, the Fire and Ice Festival every year. I mean, there's just so much cool stuff going on down there. And just walking around downtown, you can go shopping, go to the restaurants, go to the breweries, distilleries. I mean, just so many cool things to do. And then just on the city outskirts, you have the Frederick Watershed, where you can go hiking, mountain biking, I mean, get outdoors and do some fun stuff. You have the Monocacy River, where you can do a river float, get in a kayak, go fishing. So there's just a ton of things to do in Frederick, where Germantown, there's really not that much to do. You can go to the movie theaters. They have Topgolf, which is really cool, just pretty expensive, so you might go once a year. But I think Frederick really takes the cake here with activities and things to do. So let me know in the comments below which city you would pick if you were moving to Maryland. And if you need help moving to Frederick or Germantown or the surrounding areas, I'm always happy to help. Make sure to reach out to me. And if Frederick is your city, make sure to watch my pros and cons of living in Frederick. And as always, if you like this video, press the like button and subscribe so that you stay up to date on all my videos about living in Maryland.